Welcome to Moose on the Loose, your source of uncorrupt media. My name's David. Today on this episode, I've got some comments here from Liberal MP Marcus Polowski. This guy is a capital L Trudeau bootlicker, loser extreme. He's asked numerous times what he thinks about Trudeau, if he should be running for the leadership, etc., etc. And his answers will absolutely astonish you. Check it out.
Concerns about calls for leadership review?
No, I don't. And I think the session is going to go great. I think it's a watershed moment. We're going to do better in the polls, and things will get better. The economy will get better, and we'll get better.
Is that wishful thinking, or
no?
How is that going to happen?
Because I think more and more Pierre Poilievre is revealing who he is. And okay, Trudeau isn't perfect, but he's way better than Poilievre.
Do you have so you have no interest in the leadership review?
No.
Who is this guy? I have no idea who he is, but he just lost all his credibility. It's like, really, Trudeau is better? Blackface Trudeau, the man who dressed up in racist face paint so many times he couldn't he couldn't even recall. That was like on his own clip. He's like, oh, I don't remember how many times. If he thinks the poll numbers are going to get better just out of magical luck, I guess it's the same theory as when we pay money to the sky gods and then it changes the carbon levels on our planet, right? That's the same sort of strategy.
Canadians are going to choose for a new leader. Who do you want as a new leader? Trudeau, okay, maybe you're not totally in love with the guy now, but I say he's way, way better than Poilievre, and I think he's actually a really good leader.
Mr. Polowski, on carbon pricing.
I can't. He must be getting suitcases full of cash, stuffed full of cash under the table, because it's just like, come on, man, have some integrity.
Are you doing anything differently to try to communicate that to your constituents? Is that something that you're trying to?
Well, interestingly, and I think carbon pricing is the right thing to do. I think it's one of the most efficient ways of dealing with climate change. But the problem is it's a fairly complex argument. And especially in you in the media kind of know that often the idea is that your average person has like a 30-second attention span, and to be able to explain carbon pricing and why it works takes more than 30 seconds. So it's difficult sell for politicians, but I think also for the media it's a difficult sell.
Give me a break. You should be able to break down any complex idea into a very basic premise of why it works. This is the typical liberal thing. Oh, it's too complicated for you to understand. But don't worry, we know what we're doing. It's like, you guys are stuffing your pockets is what you're doing. We're not stupid. Give me a break.
And how do you kind of explain this in a succinct enough way for people to appreciate before they get bored and turn the channel?
Is your caucus having
This is so rich coming from a guy who's at his age and probably at his career, he's probably stuffed with cash, just filled to the gills with cash. I wonder how many houses this guy has. It's easy to say. Back in this guy's time, you could get a job straight out of school and you would be making the equivalent. Someone did the math. It was like $157,000 a year. That's the equivalent to today. To live through a time like that where everything was easy, life was easy, money was easy, and then to have it be so rich that, oh, you wouldn't understand carbon tax. Go keep it clean here.
Who is more popular, like you or Justin Trudeau?
Well, I think based on the numbers, it seems like I am, but.
So what does that tell you?
Well, Trudeau is far more public than I am, and a lot of people dislike Trudeau for seemingly fairly trivial reasons. I mean, when he was elected, a lot of people loved his hair. Now, a lot of people hate him because of his hair. I mean, it's
Really? You think Canadians don't like Trudeau because of his hair? I couldn't give a damn about his hair. We don't like Trudeau because he's running our country into the ground. We have to pay carbon tax. For me personally, to have my entire livelihood destroyed by a Russian hacker, and I get no government support, absolutely none, and you guys are jacking the price of groceries, you're jacking the price of everything. We pay a tax on a tax on a tax. I have to pay a carbon tax on my home heating. You don't think home heating is an absolute necessity? Green peas used to cost $1, a bag of frozen green peas. Now they're $2.60. You pompous piece of crap.
It's not about the substance. It's about superficial things.
You think the hatred is superficial?
In some cases, it's more than that. But if you look at who Trudeau was when he was elected and who Trudeau is, having learned about him under the time he's been the party leader, how much of a difference is there? I don't see a lot of difference, but some people have gone from we don't like them, or we like them, we don't like them, based on what? I think a lot And I think the big thing is, well, who are you going to compare it with? And certainly if you look at the other opposition leaders, he's way better than any of them are.
Okay, but compare. Do you think there could be somebody better in your party right now than him to be the leader?
I don't want to speculate about it. And it would depend on...
No, but do you think that there could be? Like, I don't know. You know
there,
your
there always could be, sure. I mean, but who knows? But am I looking for a review? No. And the reality is that once you get elected and you're in spotlight, you're in a very different situation. I mean, I as a backbencher am not nearly as much in the spotlight. Ministers are in the spotlight.
This guy's quickly becoming one of the most punchable faces in Canada. I don't even know who this crusty old bag is, but...
Who's going to look good when you always have the spotlight on? I don't know.
Have you heard that at the door? People making comments like, you would have a better chance if
for sure.
Prime Minister was not, if you were not running with Trudeau. Have you heard that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah? You hear that a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say to those people?
Well, I say to them, in my 4 years since being elected, I've come to appreciate how good a Prime Minister he is and how dedicated he is to the people in Canada and the fact that he's a really smart guy. And so I have in my 4 years...
This guy would be, he'd do some good stand-up, that's for sure. He just have to keep doing that routine.
Of having been elected and heard a lot from Trudeau, my opinions of Prime Minister have greatly improved, and that's what I tell people.
So what's the comment that they tell you about Mr. Trudeau, on that line?
It's like the marriage thing. Like if you ask them, like, why do you hate Trudeau? It's like, oh, I don't know. It's a whole bunch of things, and so there's various things, and often kind of like superficial. And the fact that I say, well, like they loved him because of his hair, and now they hate him because of it, to a certain extent, it's true. I mean, superficialities, like I don't.
Are you serious, man? People can't pay their mortgage. They can't pay their rent. They can't buy food. They can't afford to heat their house. I'm living in a frickin' freezing house here because it's so goddamn cold, and you're talking about superficial? You pompous piece of crap. I have to click off this guy. That's where we're going to wrap up this one. This old bag here is getting me really pissed off. This guy somehow seems to think that we don't like Trudeau because his hair. It's not because groceries have gone up like 3 times. I don't buy oranges because they're too expensive, man. They were already more expensive than the States, and then they tripled. I did a road trip last year all across America. I filmed 50 hiking videos in numerous different states, and I lived on, I kid you not, about $3 a day in food. It was so cheap. I could buy a big loaf of bread, garlicky, delicious, a big bag of salad, and then some fruit. And I just had that every single day. It was so cheap, and I was eating so well. I come back to Canada, and that's when the food prices had just started to go up. They think they doubled, and it was just an absolute shock that even back then, it was like 3 times more, and then now it's doubled or more since then. Our country is in such a bad state, and this worthless bag has the audacity to say that to us. That's insulting. Anyways, that's where we're going to wrap this one up. If you're interested in checking out more about my road trip, you can check out this video here where I go up Big Rock Candy Mountain. It's a mountain made of sulfur, so it was a little bit dangerous to hike it. People don't hike it, but I went and summited the peak. What's interesting about that mountain is it was named after the song. There's like a song back from the early 1900s, Big Rock Candy Mountain, like Big Rock, ding, 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 one of those old-timey songs. The song was named after that mountain, and there's a hotel at the bottom, and I went in there and I asked the guy, hey, can you hike up here? And he's like, oh, well, you could. Yeah, people like to, play around a bit on the hills. I took that as, yeah, sure, I'm allowed to go hike up there. So I went up there, I hiked to the top of the mountain, come back, I show him the summit photos, and the eyes just bugged right out of this guy's head. He was like, oh my God, you went all the way up there? So it was a good time if you want to check it out. If not, more Trudeau madness. You got to have the yin and the yang. Don't want to have too much rage going on. Be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.